All right, so in this lesson, we're going to talk about classifying triangles, and that means we're going to name the triangle based on the angles and based on the sides, the angle measures and the lengths of the sides. So pause this anytime you need to. But let's talk about the angles first, the different types of angles you can have in a triangle. All right, you've got an acute triangle. With an acute triangle, that means you have all three angles are going to be acute angles. So that would be called an acute triangle. Now another type of triangle that still has all three angles acute, but the difference is if all three angles are the same measure, they call that an equiangular triangle. So the markings here mean all three angles would be the same. So they're all congruent to each other, equiangular. So that's also an acute triangle. And then another type of triangle you have, an obtuse triangle. That's when you have one obtuse angle. So you are greater than 90 degrees on that one angle. And then you, of course, have a right triangle, and that's where you have one right angle. So those are the ways that you can classify a triangle based on the types of angles it has. So next we're going to go ahead and classify it based on the sides that it has, the lengths of the sides. All right, so the first kind we have is when all three sides are the same. So you might know the name for that already. If you have an equilateral triangle, that means all three sides are the same, so we're marking them all the same way. Three congruent sides. All right, then you have what's called an isosceles. An isosceles is when you have at least two of your sides are the same. So the third side might be different, or the third side could be the same as well, but if at least two sides are the same, you are isosceles. Now, if two sides are the same, your two base angles would be the same as well in measure. All right, and your last kind is scalene, and that is when no sides are the same at all. No sides are congruent. So they would all have different measures. All right, so two ways you can classify a triangle. You can give it a name based on the angles and give it a name based on the sides. All right, we'll do a couple of examples using that. All right, let's go ahead and classify. I'm going to give you a triangle, and let's classify it by its angles. I'll give you triangle PQR in a moment. All right, here's PQR. We'll call him S. All right, so you've got several triangles in here. So if you get a problem like this, pay attention to which one they want. And I want this outer one right here. All right, this is going to be given to you as 45. You've got 45 here. You've got 59 here. And you have 31 here. So if we're looking only at the outer triangle here, you have your two base angles, 45 and 31. They are both acute. So we need to find out what the third one is. So angle PQR, if we take a look at this angle right here, we know that that is 45 plus 59. And that gives us 104 degrees. If we are over 90, then we are obtuse. Therefore, we have an obtuse triangle. All right, so let's see if we can classify by sides. I'm going to give you a triangle. Let's call it triangle ABC. And I'm going to tell you it's isosceles. I want you to find all three sides. All right, so we want it to be isosceles. We'll make those two sides the same. All right, we will call this side 5x minus 0.5. This side will be 4x plus 1. And we'll make this 9x minus 1. All right, so for isosceles, let's come up with an equation that shows that we know those two sides are the same. They are marked for you, so we know these are the two equal sides. So these two expressions must have the same value. So that's your equation. So let's go ahead and add the 0.5, or you can move your variables together. So we have 4x plus 1.5. And we want to bring the 4x over. So we'll go ahead and subtract 4x. And we will not have anything to divide by. Got a 1.5 here. And 5 minus 4, we have our 1x. So we know x is a 1.5. So that is the first thing that we needed to find, was our value of x. And now we just plug it in. We need to find three sides. Now remember, if you find side AC, side BC will be the same. So side AC, we're going to take the 4 times the 1.5, because that's our x value, and add 1. All right, so this will get us 6 plus 1. So we now have a 7. Side BC, being isosceles, is the same as AC. So I know that's going to be a 7 as well. And we have one last side to find. We need to find side AB. So we're going to take 9 times 1.5 and subtract 1. So when we do that, we have 13.5. Subtract 1, and we get 12.5. So you have found all three sides. So that's going to get you started on this lesson, and we'll talk about it when you're in class tomorrow.